Hello book lovers and welcome to Book Talk Radio Club. My name is Claire Perkins and today I'm talking to author Anne Veriku. Anne is a young adult science fiction writer with a penchant for time travel. She wanted to be a writer since the age of 15 and is now living her dream with long walks to the bookshop, chocolate frappes and most of all working on her writing. She graduated with a Bachelor of Communications, majoring in Writing and Cultural Studies from the University of Technology, Sydney. Anne is the author of The Heart Clock, which is her debut science fiction novel. Hi Anne, first of all welcome and thank you for coming on Book Talk Radio Club.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, it's my pleasure, my pleasure. As a child and now as an adult, I love a well-written sci-fi book, something that sparks my imagination. Would you like to give Book Talk Radio Club's listeners a brief synopsis of The Heart Clock?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically this book is all about the protagonist, Pavan, and her friend Mary on a quest to find the Kohinoor diamond. So I don't know if you have sort of heard anything about the Kohinoor diamond, but
sure. It's the largest diamond in the world.
Yeah, exactly right. So basically it gets stolen by a fugitive in the world that I've built. And Pavan and her friend Mary get sent a mysterious heart clock, which is where the name comes from. And the heart clock is a time travel device which allows them to go back in time, to go forward in time, and to find this fugitive and solve the mystery, basically, of the missing Kohinoor. But that's very much the tip of the iceberg. The Kohinoor is just the beginning.
Right.
It's actually, yes. Mm-hmm.
So who is Pavan and what kind of character is she? Tell me about her.
Well, Pavan is much like myself. I'm Punjabi. I grew up in Australia, and I often struggled with having my own culture and then having, the Australian culture to contend with. So she's very much a mix of those two cultures, having to try and balance them.
Mm-hmm. And how old is she?
She's 17 years old.
And what about her two friends, Mary and Taj? Tell me about them.
Yep. So Mary is her best friend, as you'll find out when you read the novel, and she's very different to Pavan. She's completely, she's not Punjabi. She's Australian, and she also has, her own sort of adventures that she goes on throughout the novel. That'll be in the subplot. So she has lost her mother in a siege that happened a little bit before the novel starts, and she kind of embarks on her own adventure too, to discover her mother and bring her back to life. And then also there's Taj, who is the fugitive. He starts off as a fugitive, but he's actually he becomes part of the team for the quest. So he's not, without giving too much away.
No, of course not. Of course you don't want to do that. So the book is set during the galactic occupation of Earth in year G1. Can you paint a picture with words of what the Earth is like during this time?
Yeah, sure. So basically in the year G1, the galactics, who are an alien race, they come to Earth and they begin to occupy it. But the humans don't realize how bad this actually is. So everything kind of is just continuing on as usual, and little changes happen over time. So, for example, in the high school curriculum, they change different subjects. So they'll have galactic history now, which teaches all about the history of the galactics and their heritage as well, which is interesting. And then also the Watchers are a new sort of political group that come into play when the galactics start to occupy Earth. So that we have these two kind of opposing groups that arise in year G1, which is actually 2011. So 2011 is the first year of galactic occupation. So the G stands for galactic, and then the 1 stands for the first year of their occupation.
Sure. Sure. So why the title, The Heart Clock? You said it was a time machine, but tell me a bit more.
So it is a time machine, and much like most of my writing, it all starts off with a dream. So I had a dream.
Mm-hmm.
I had a dream about a clock, and it was very beautiful. It was in the shape of a heart, and there were little houses inside it moving around, and that's where the title came from, The Heart Clock. That morning I got up and I started, well, it wasn't, that morning I got up and I started writing, and that's the name. That's where it came from.
So imaginative. I love that. That's such wonderful imagination. So which age group is The Heart Clock aimed at?
So it's a science fiction novel, but it has elements of historical fiction. Also, because she's only 17 and she's growing up, it's a bit of a kind of has a bit of coming of age in there. But yes, predominantly science fiction. So anyone who likes science fiction, regardless of their age, you could be in the 6th grade, you could be in year 12,
Mm-hmm.
you could be an adult. You can be an adult who just likes, but it is YA fiction. So if we want to get technical, it's for young adults. So probably between 15 to 12 to 19, I'd say.
Right.
Around that age group.
Was there a particular author or book that inspired you to start writing the science fiction genre?
I've been reading a lot of, when I was younger, I read, I don't know how to say his name, I'm so sorry, but I've read a lot of his books. Eoin Colfer.
Right.
He wrote Artemis Fowl, and I read all of them, and I loved them. And I loved the fact that he'd used, fairies, which are part of folklore, but then he'd made them somehow science fiction with all the technology that they used and all of it. And I thought it was a fantastic series as a child. I even reread it as an adult. Maybe I've started reading it, so I started reading it about 2 weeks ago again, and I really loved it. So he was a big influence. His work is fantastic and it's timeless. So I really liked his work.
I love it when you can find a book that's so good that you go back to it years later, and it's like getting acquainted with an old friend again, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt when I read it again.
So you wanted to be a writer at the age of 15, and before The Heart Clock, have you written any other published stories?
Look, I've done some short stories, but nothing like a novel before, and those short stories that I wrote, they were quite sensitive, and I wouldn't release them, just because the content, I wouldn't want, because they're based on real events and real people, so
right.
I would have to get that person's permission, and I didn't want to release it, so I think this is definitely my first published book. Yes.
I was reading your blog and I noticed that you talk about writer's block, which you yourself experienced. How did you get past it, and what advice would you give to someone going through it?
So yes, I get writer's block. I think every writer has been through that. So what I would probably recommend is to relax, and just, do something else for a little while. I find that doing mundane tasks, like, I don't know, cleaning or, going to your day job, like every writer has the day job, and if you just go to your day job and keep working, eventually, the harder you work on something else, your subconscious mind is continually generating ideas. You don't even know it yet because it's in your subconscious, so you just got to wait for that sort of moment of that epiphany, that moment of, oh, I've got an idea. So it just happens like that, and you just got to not think about it too much. Don't stress yourself out.
Exactly. Just focus on, in other words, focus on something else.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. You could go traveling. You could, work on a university project. You could do anything different, something different.
Just make sure it's different.
Yeah.
In your opinion, how important is it for an author to have a blog?
A blog can be so many different things now. It's not only the conventional, blog on your website. It can be a micro blog post on your Instagram, because I know I've seen that a lot. I've seen writers do, post up a photo, but then they write a big long Instagram post, and it's almost like a blog post, and you read it because you're scrolling down, so that's very effective. So there's definitely different ways that you can blog. You can do it through Facebook, you can do it through Instagram. I think social media is a really big important part of being a writer today. It's a new media landscape, and social media is definitely a part of that.
Exactly. You actually self-published The Heart Clock 2 years ago, but now have the wonderful Patricia Landy, owner of Crystal Publishing, Colorado, USA, publishing for you. Why did you decide to go down that route, and why Crystal Publishing?
So it's a funny story, actually. I had simply, self-published it on Amazon. I was part of a couple of Facebook groups, actually, and I think I might have posted in one of those Facebook groups, and she might have discovered the post and then followed the Amazon link, bought the book, had a read, and then she approached me. So really, I think it was very much by chance that she found my work, and I'm very grateful for that. And it's great to have someone believe in you, which kind of validates. Yeah.
Of course. Is The Heart Clock a one-off or the first in the series?
Yes, it is definitely a first in the series. The second book, I am writing it now. The first book is set to release very soon, so I've started writing the second already, and it's one of 5. So there are to be 5 of them.
Fantastic.
At the moment.
So the Heart Clock is due to be published, I think it's February, isn't it?
Yes, so February 2020 is we're hoping. However, sometimes there's extenuating factors that may push back the date. So at the moment it's tentative February 2020, but if there are any changes, we'll just let the readership know.
And I guess it'll be on Amazon and places like that?
Yeah, definitely. So Amazon, all of the online platforms, yes, and then also bookstores.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you, Anne. It's lovely to talk to you. Please come back on Book Talk Radio Club again. I'd love to chat with you and hear more. In the meantime, good luck for the future, and thank you, everyone, for listening to Book Talk Radio Club. Thank you very much, Anne.
Not a problem.